I am Nathan, a 25-year-old with a heart full of dreams and a spirit ready for adventure. I reside in a charming, serene enclave just beyond the vibrant pulse of Portland, Oregon. Life here lacks a certain spark of excitement. The neighborhood boasts a row of charmingly uniform houses, each adorned with meticulously manicured lawns. The residents, while courteous, exchange only fleeting glances and polite waves, rarely lingering for a deeper conversation. It's a setting where the soft murmur of lawnmowers drifts through the air in the morning, mingling with the delicate bark of a dog echoing from a nearby street, creating an atmosphere both familiar and enticingly intimate. It possesses a serene charm, and that is where its allure lies. I reside with my father, Daniel, and my enchanting stepmother, Elena. My father, at the age of 58, is a dedicated contractor, pouring his heart and soul into his local construction business, where he tirelessly crafts dreams into reality. He dances through life, perpetually engaged in his pursuits, often lost in the glow of his laptop at home, responding to messages or contemplating grand designs. He possesses that alluring charm of a man who dances through life, seldom returning before twilight, and even in his rare moments of presence, he seems to drift just beyond reach. Do indulge in subscribing to my channel, allowing me to weave more captivating tales that will enchant and intrigue you, just like this one. Be sure to indulge in this video until the very last moment, for the tale that unfolds is bound to captivate your heart and stir your imagination. 5 years ago, Elena gracefully stepped into our lives, a captivating presence that emerged after my mother's untimely departure from this world due to cancer when I was just 16. For an eternity, it was merely my father and I, and while we managed to navigate our days, the house lingered in a haunting silence, an echo of unfulfilled warmth. Father rarely delved into the realm of romance, so when he unveiled Elena, it took us both by delightful surprise. They crossed paths through a circle of acquaintances, and in what seemed like the blink of an eye, they found themselves entwined in the sacred bond of marriage. Elena, at 47, she carries herself with a quiet confidence and grace that makes her presence comforting and warm. Her luxurious chestnut hair cascades in gentle waves past her shoulders, while her eyes, oh, those eyes, possess an intense, almost mesmerizing shade of green that could easily ensnare your thoughts if she held your gaze for just a moment too long. She has always shown me kindness, embracing me as a friend rather than a mere stepson, yet an undeniable tension lingers in the air between us. I'm uncertain of the moment it began, yet I can feel its intensity deepening with each passing year. Perhaps it's the grace with which she moves, exuding a charm that is both alluring and inviting. Perhaps it's the warmth of her laughter, or the way her kindness makes every conversation feel familiar and welcoming. Whatever it may be, it is a temptation I cannot resist. We reside in a charming two-story abode adorned with a white picket fence and a quaint front garden that Elena lovingly nurtures. Each morning she tends to the roses and pulls the weeds, her hair casually tied back as she focuses on her work. By day, I find myself immersed in the world of technology at a charming local store, where I breathe new life into phones and laptops. As the sun sets, I indulge in the pursuit of knowledge, attending night classes to complete my degree in software engineering, all while weaving a tapestry of ambition and allure. On most days, when I'm not engaged in the demands of work or school, I find myself retreating to my room, indulging in the captivating worlds of video games, or losing track of time as I explore the endless scroll of my phone. It may lack the allure of extravagance, yet it offers a certain charm and warmth. At the very least, it certainly was. On a fateful Thursday evening, the course of destiny shifted dramatically. Father was away on yet another business trip, a circumstance that had grown all too common in recent times. Alina and I had woven ourselves into a delightful rhythm in his absence. She would prepare a sumptuous dinner, we would savor the meal together, and then, With a knowing glance, we would each retreat to our own private sanctuaries for the evening. That evening, I relaxed in my room, scrolling through my phone as the soft glow of my lamp filled the space, a collection of tender acoustic melodies gently caressing the air with their soothing embrace. I was lost in my thoughts, enjoying a quiet evening, when a gentle knock at my door caught my attention. Nathan, Elena's voice danced softly in the air, laced with a hint of uncertainty. The door remained unlatched, and before I could gather my thoughts, she appeared, embodying the effortless elegance that was so uniquely hers. In a fleeting instant of vulnerability, she ensnared me, leaving me momentarily paralyzed. She stepped into the room, the door closing quietly behind her. "What are you doing?" she inquired, her gaze sweeping over the room with a hint of intrigue. "Oh, nothing," I replied, attempting to maintain an air of nonchalance, yet the warmth blooming on my cheeks betrayed my true feelings. She walked over and picked up my phone, glancing at the screen with mild curiosity. She had a way of moving with ease, her presence making the space feel more lively. She gracefully perched on the edge of the bed, her movements languid and intentional, the mattress yielding softly beneath her, and in that moment the atmosphere became charged with a tantalizing, unvoiced allure. "You've blossomed into someone remarkable," she murmured, her gaze entwining with mine. Her gaze held a warmth that was both inviting and probing, igniting a flutter in my heart that I couldn't ignore. I found myself at a loss for words, my heart racing as I contemplated my reply. "Indeed, I suppose," I murmured, a hint of uncertainty lacing my words. Elena delicately swept a lock of hair from my forehead, her touch lingering just a moment longer than necessary. Her touch was gentle, a reassuring gesture that made me feel seen. "Do you ever think about what truly makes you happy?" she inquired, her voice soft and delicate, like a secret meant only for the night. "What do you imply?" I inquired, my curiosity piqued by the enigmatic allure of her words. "In life," she whispered, her gaze unwavering as it locked onto mine. "What brings you joy? What desires stir within your heart for your own future?" I lingered for a moment. Never had anyone posed such a question to me, at least not with this alluring charm. "I'm not quite certain," I confessed after a pause, feeling unexpectedly vulnerable. "It seems I've never truly pondered the matter." Elena smiled, her fingers brushing against my cheek for a fleeting moment before she withdrew, leaving a whisper of warmth in the air. "You simply must," she murmured, her voice a gentle caress. "Your happiness is of utmost importance, Nathan." A tantalizing hush enveloped us, lingering like a secret waiting to be unveiled, until Elena leaned in, her presence intoxicatingly close. The moment carried a quiet uncertainty as she leaned in slightly, her presence close enough to leave me momentarily speechless. For a fleeting moment, I remained still, captivated and breathless. Yet then an undeniable spark ignited within me. I lifted my hand, gently cradling her cheek as our kiss grew more passionate. Her lips were a delicate softness, warm against mine, carrying the subtle essence of the wine we had savored over dinner. My heart raced as her delicate hands found their way to my shoulders, drawing me nearer with an irresistible allure. As the world beyond slipped into obscurity, it was just the two of us, enveloped in the allure of our secluded haven. She reached out, giving a reassuring touch as if trying to comfort me. She leaned back just enough, her forehead gently touching mine as we both savored the moment, breathless and entwined in a shared intimacy. "His feels complicated," she said, her voice carrying a sense of hesitation. "Perhaps," I murmured, maintaining her gaze, "yet it feels undeniably right." Her eyes sought mine, brimming with uncertainty and longing, and for a fleeting moment it seemed she might withdraw, yet she drew closer once more, her lips meeting mine with an intoxicating fervor this time. My hands found their way to her waist, drawing her nearer with an irresistible allure. She leaned in slightly, as if seeking reassurance. Her hands glided up my chest, as if etching every contour of my being into her memory. In that fleeting instant, I realized that everything had irrevocably changed, forever altering the course of my heart's desires. She drew back slightly, allowing her enchanting green eyes to meet mine, brimming with a tumult of emotions, yearning, uncertainty, and an unspoken depth that eluded my understanding. Her breath caressed my skin, and for a fleeting moment we lingered in that intimate space, close enough to sense the rhythm of each other's hearts. "This is perilous, Nathan," she murmured, her voice a delicate whisper that danced in the air. "Your father?" I gently shook my head, interrupting her with a soft yet firm resolve. "He rarely graces us with his presence, Elena. It is often just the two of us, lost in our own world." Her lips parted, poised to utter a secret, yet she lingered in delightful uncertainty. I could see the turmoil in her gaze, the exquisite struggle between propriety and the desires that stirred within her soul. "This moment transcends him alone," she finally declared. "It's a tale of us, a reflection on the significance of our connection." I gently took her hand, our fingers dancing together in a delicate embrace. "It need not carry any weight, my dear Elena. It's merely the two of us in this moment, together, entwined in the present." Her gaze deepened with a tender allure, and she released a breath that trembled with unspoken desire. "You present it with such effortless charm." "Perhaps it is," I murmured, my thumb caressing her knuckles with a tender touch. She regarded me for a moment, her gaze enigmatic, and then she drew closer once more, her lips seeking mine with an alluring fervor. This kiss enveloped them, a profound connection that seemed to unravel the very threads of restraint that had once bound her. Her delicate fingers found their way to the nape of my neck, drawing me nearer as I felt the warmth of her body meld with mine. The weekend felt like a temporary escape, a time where we could just focus on conversation and companionship. By day, we wore our masks, blending into the ordinary. Yet as twilight descended, the world transformed into our secret haven, where hushed confessions danced in the air and gentle caresses ignited a fire within. We nestled on the couch, her head gently resting on my shoulder, lost in the allure of classic films. Her fingers danced along my arm, and we strolled through the garden at twilight, the fragrance of roses enveloping us, as her hand lightly grazed mine. Each delicate caress ignited a fire within me. Every moment felt meaningful, a reminder of the fleeting nature of time and connection. For those 2 days, we simply enjoyed the present, setting aside worries about the future. As Sunday dawned, the enchanting spell of the weekend gently unraveled, drawing us back into the embrace of reality. The house grew quiet again as we prepared for Daniel's return, settling back into our normal routines. Elena and I were acutely aware that the enchanting affair we shared could not persist in its current form. It was a tantalizing gamble, fraught with complexity, yet a part of me yearned to hold on to the exquisite moments we had woven together. The silence that enveloped us that day was laden with unspoken desires, a tension that danced elegantly in the air. We danced around the truth, cloaked in a delicate pretense that all remained as it once was. Yet I could feel it, a silent electricity, a palpable heaviness lingering in the atmosphere. Each conversation carried an unspoken weight, as if we were both waiting for a moment of clarity to voice the unspoken desires we both sensed but hesitated to embrace. I found myself yearning for just one more moment with her, one more minute before everything slipped back into the familiar shadows of the past. Yet, it seemed destined to remain a tantalizing dream. There was no turning back now. Later that night, I found myself in the kitchen, gazing dreamily at the refrigerator, its gentle hum the sole companion in the stillness of the house. My thoughts raced, filled with conflicting emotions and memories. She lingered in my thoughts, the memories of our stolen moments igniting a fire within me. The softness of her caress, the intoxicating thrill of our connection, felt achingly genuine, yet tantalizingly forbidden. I felt the soft echo of footsteps behind me and turned to find Elena poised elegantly in the doorway. As our gazes intertwined, I sensed that she, too, bore the burden of our shared secret. Initially, silence enveloped us. We were not obliged to. The hush that enveloped us whispered secrets untold. At last, she uttered a word, her voice a delicate whisper, more tender than ever before. I can no longer endure this, Nathan, she whispered, her voice laced with a bittersweet intensity. It feels overwhelming. We've ventured into uncharted territory, and I find myself at a loss for how to mend what has been stirred. I stood still, the weight of her words striking me with an unexpected intensity, leaving me breathless. I had sensed it approaching, yet the moment her words graced the air, it transformed into an undeniable reality. I find myself at a loss for what to do next, I murmured, my voice a soft, delicate whisper. I find myself at a loss, unable to release the grip of what we share, of the connection that binds us. Elena's visage softened, her eyes shimmering with a blend of wistfulness and melancholy. Perhaps it is our destiny, Nathan. Maybe it's time we take a step back and reflect on everything. This affair we've been indulging in, it simply cannot continue. It feels so wrong, and the path ahead seems destined to grow more challenging. I long to voice my dissent, to suggest that a solution might still be within our grasp, yet the weight of her words enveloped me, penetrating deeper than any retort I could muster. I can't imagine what things will be like moving forward, I admitted softly, yet deep down, I understand your truth. Elena inhaled deeply, her hand quivering ever so slightly as she brushed away a tear that had dared to escape down her cheek. At times, relinquishing what we hold dear is the sole path to preserving the remnants, she murmured softly. I share your sentiment. The thought of losing you is unbearable. Yet, deep down, we both understand that this path cannot continue as it is. We must put an end to this enchanting affair. I nodded slowly, my heart weighed down by a profound understanding that lingered in the air like a whispered secret. She was undeniably correct. We had ventured into uncharted territory, and despite the undeniable allure that drew us together, it could not overshadow the truth of our circumstances. For a long moment, neither of us spoke, simply reflecting on everything that had happened. We found ourselves entwined in the heaviness of our farewells, each word a delicate thread binding us to what we were leaving behind. Then Elena spoke again, her voice a delicate whisper, yet imbued with an undeniable strength. Farewell, Nathan, she murmured, her voice a delicate sigh, and with that she gracefully turned and departed. I lingered in the kitchen, a solitary figure, as if the very earth beneath me had begun to sway with unspoken desires. I longed to reach out, to halt her graceful departure, yet deep down I understood it was already too late. We found ourselves unable to erase the past, unable to return to the innocence of what once was. The days that ensued were wrapped in a hushed stillness, more subdued than ever before. As Daniel returned home, Elena gracefully resumed her daily rituals, yet an undeniable tension simmered just beneath the surface, weaving an intricate dance between us. We both endeavored to maintain an air of nonchalance, yet the shift between us was undeniable, a tantalizing tension lingering in the air. I immersed myself in work and studies, seeking refuge from the profound void that lingered in every shadow of my existence. Yet, despite my best efforts, the enchanting memory of Elena lingered, refusing to fade away. Her gaze lingered on me, her fingertips brushed against my skin. and in that moment we shared an unspoken bond that defied all logic. As twilight descended, I nestled into the embrace of the porch, captivated by the sun's final, fiery dance across the horizon. The evening air was crisp, and the stillness of the neighborhood wrapped around me like a velvet cloak, heavy with unspoken secrets. In those hushed interludes, the realization struck me with an undeniable force. Elena would forever linger in my heart, no matter the lengths I went to escape her memory. The sound of the door creaking open behind me drew my attention, and I turned to find Elena poised elegantly in the doorway, a hint of mischief in her gaze. She remained silent, her gaze lingering on me, an enigmatic expression dancing across her features. We lingered in that exquisite stillness, the air thick with unspoken words, until at last she shattered the silence with a soft, alluring voice. "I believe we've both discovered something profound through this journey," she murmured, her voice laced with a hint of melancholy. "Concerning our essence, our connection, and perhaps the art of surrendering." I nodded slowly, savoring the depth of her words as they lingered in the air like a forbidden secret. "Indeed, I find myself in agreement," I murmured softly. Elena gazed at me, her eyes reflecting a deep understanding and thoughtfulness. "My dearest Nathan, I find myself filled with regret for all that has transpired between us. I hold no regrets, yet it was not quite as it should have been. We can no longer maintain the illusion that everything remains the same." "I harbor no regrets," I confessed, my voice laced with deep emotion, "yet I understand that we must release it into the ether." Elena smiled softly, and for a fleeting moment, I glimpsed the warmth that had once enveloped us both. "You will be just fine, Nathan," she murmured, her voice a gentle caress. "We both shall." With that, she gracefully turned and glided back into the house, leaving me standing there, enveloped in a lingering sense of longing. I lingered on the porch a while longer, attempting to reconcile the whirlwind of emotions that had unfolded. I realized that I would forever be transformed, yet deep down I understood that I could never fully release my hold on Elena. The days unfolded gracefully, and life embraced its familiar cadence once more. The house was quiet, the weight of unspoken thoughts lingering in the air. I endeavored to forge ahead, immersing myself in my work and studies, yet the enchanting memory of Elena danced in my thoughts, a tantalizing specter that refused to fade. We both endeavored to forge ahead, yet the bond we once cherished, despite its undeniable transgressions, would forever linger in the shadows of our hearts. It would forever linger within me, an exquisite chapter of my life that I could never truly erase. As the days unfolded, I began to understand that certain experiences, no matter how tangled or forbidden, remain etched in the heart for eternity.